Guys, he's a foodie. See him there, eat cake.
Not necessarily, because I'm waste.
And if you go to the video.
Like my girl, I can't make a waste.
Oh yeah, we'll have a storm. Hurricane, actually. Today is what date?
Today is the 30th.
Yeah, and we have a storm out.
Hurricane Idalia,
something like that.
Let me share a testimony with you. You know, my last video I talked about how I was at a place where I was so worried, anxious, still employed, and I would have to return to my job or resign. And thanks be to God, upon appealing for my leave, I was denied and I appealed for it. The same day I was about to book my flight to go back home for the 4th to get to work the 5th. Miraculously, the Lord came through because I had been believing. I left by faith, believed that something would work. Even if it never worked out, which is faith, I said, God, you'd have to find a way so I can be with my family. Yes, I was prepared mentally to go back. I put things in place should the worst case scenario happen. I have to return. But I had believed in God. And today I report to you, Kingdom family, that I got my 4 months leave with pay. So at least there's a transitional phase which I had prayed to God for. I had believed in God for, and He came through. Who could it be but Jesus? So what I'm saying to you about, there will come a point when all your best efforts are futile, unfruitful, you can lean to faith, lean to God, because He wants you to lean to Him. Sometimes He allows things to happen because He wants you to stop believing in the systems of the world and to believe in the first world or third world country. He wants you to find His connection. And if you saw I said to you, I'm here to build network and to do God's kingdom, to do God's work. Anyway, welcome guys back to my channel, Kingdom Expression, changing life through effective living. Let me first thank all those persons who have watched my recent videos, but primarily the one I shared about from Jamaica to America. It has attracted views, and persons have been reaching out to me, so thank you for being transparent. Thank you for sharing information. You have helped me. Now today I want to chit chat with you. I'm actually eating a night with the cake from Publix. Useful on things you need to consider when migrating on these teaching programs. As you'd have known, I am not the teacher here, my wife is. So I can talk about the classroom experience apart from what she comes and vented to me. What I can share to you is the process that we have been going through so far and what we have learned, and based on what person would have shared to us, how it corresponds to what we would have been experiencing. So I have 10 pointers that I want to I want to chit chat with you and to actually help Jamaicans and other persons who are migrating from different countries to America. And I think this is somewhat general to other countries, but we are now in America. But I know it's a first world country, so there are some similarities. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to consider upon migrating, spending money power. What do I mean by that? A dollar is a dollar in a country. So the biggest mistake Jamaicans make, and other country, but let me speak of Jamaicans because I'm a Jamaican, is that we keep on converting the Jamaican dollar every time we think of the US dollar. So when I was back home before migrating, I would have heard a number of persons saying, I get more than a principal. If I were to go overseas, I get roughly 3,600 US or 4,000 US. Yes, you are right, but you're not in Jamaica. You're not paying in Jamaica your rent for $200,000 for a rent. No. But in America, here you're paying roughly 1,500 US to $2,000 for a comfortable place to stay. So that's the biggest mistake many Jamaicans make, and so they come here expecting to reap and to rape the America. And upon understanding how things work, they are shocked, they are embarrassed, and they can't. I always say to people, Type in YouTube or Google, just type in teachers rather, enjoy in America. You don't see people vlogging. You'll find persons talking about how to get here to America, H-1B process, the J-1 process, the school district that sponsors H-1B visas, but you never see someone vlogging and come over here and enjoy it. No, you don't. Why? Because it is not as we imagine it to be. But to be frank with you, America is a nice place. And if you follow these tips I'll give to you, and there are more, you can better transition. I won't say it's perfect because I'm not giving the gospel here, but these things are these are some pointers you will come across upon migrating. So I think I'm at a good start. You need to brace yourself. You need to save money. You need to, whatever you need to borrow, consolidate, refinance back home, whatever you need to do to ensure you live on a good financial standing, please do so. Of course, you can never be exactly prepared, but the best that you can be, it will be good enough and you will thank the Lord. We did it, and every time since I've gotten here and every time I look at our life, I say, God, thank you. I made it. Money provides opportunity. It makes you see things clearer and better. You see things through a better lens. When you come in, you're desperate and you're frustrated, you're broke, you'll make some impromptu decisions, some hasty ones, some uninformed decisions, and you're going to regret it later on. Not easy to bounce back here in America. So ensure you structure yourself back home financially. Second point I want to pull your minds to, and you reason with me, is that you need to research and understand as best as possible. You won't understand fully, but as best as possible, credit score. In Jamaica we do it, but it's way backward, and I know the banks would do a better job, and they have been doing a good job, but because of the people we are in Jamaica, they are hard to implement these strategies and procedures better. Because before I left, I remember NCB upping my credit card like every other month, because I was using the credit card, I was spending, I was buying, and I was replenishing the credit card so it's somewhat similar here, but here is far. If you don't understand credit score, let me basically tell you what, in a simple sentence. A credit score basically tells someone your spending history and your commitment, and you honoring your commitments. So if you have a car loan, your mortgage, your rent, your furniture, and all those stuff, you paying those bills on a monthly basis speaks to how committed you are in paying your bills. And so you create a credit score that once you have a good credit history or a good spending history, and that's why it's so easy to get things over here, to buy a car, the latest car, as you see to buy, in opposed to Jamaica. Because in Jamaica, you find the banks will tell you that they need 3 months pay slip or 6 months pay slip. Because in Jamaica, you know it can go. A man to put a car and then he quit the job the next month and he go with the car and they can't find him. They can't find him. Or he go courts and borrow some furniture and then they can't find him after. So they have to put these things in place to ensure that you'll be in that job for 3 months. So there's some level of consistency. In America, they don't care, because once you are employed with a social security number, you are connected everywhere. They can find you. So everybody's at leisure to give you anything you want. So having a good credit score enables you to buy things as you want. No, you coming into the country, you don't have any credit score. With that being said, you will be unable to make some decisions as it relates to buying a motor vehicle, renting an apartment, buying furniture, and just anything as it relates to spending money. You will be limited. No, they will chance it with you, but it will be at a high interest rate. For example, the vehicle that my wife and I drive now is at an extreme interest rate because we never had a credit score. But we came here with some level of financial stability. Not a lot, but enough to give us a comfortable start. And so that's why I'm able to speak to you like this as it relates to credit score. We are told that upon establishing a credit score, a credit history in 6 months' time, we can refinance it with another institution. Credit score. Our apartment cost us more money because we never had a credit history in the country, our first apartment. Yes, so everywhere you turn, there is a demand for a credit history. So you live in Jamaica or any other country coming to America, you wouldn't have a credit score. Therefore, as number one stated, you need money power. So you need to research and understand credit score and how you can safely and quickly start building your credit. What I've learned, again, because we came here somewhat financially stable to a comfortable start, we were able to, when we went to the bank, when our friend Virgo, big up Virgo, thank you again, every day I talk about you, you are a friend in need. When she brought us to the bank, when we came up and we went to the bank, so we were able to open a secured credit card, which we put our own money on a credit card and spend from it. So we start establishing credit like 5 days when we got here, because we came with some level of financial stability. So again, this is why number one point is so important: money power, spending power. All right. So you need that credit score. So I'm encouraging those who are thinking and those who just arrived and are planning to come, research credit score, type in some stuff. You know, there are credit plays like Discovery, Capital One, Discover is a good credit card. So far, good. The third point I want to bring your attention to is you will need a support system one way or another when you get here. What I really mean by this, there are some persons who boast about how quiet they are, how reserved they are, or of an introvert they are. They don't talk to people. If you were that back home, I am encouraging you now. And you know that's my big word every time I do a coaching. So I'm encouraging you now that you better learn to open your mouth and ask questions and be polite and be wise when you ask your questions. Of course, you won't force yourself in somebody who's not interested. But guess what? My wife is naturally reserved, and you know, she's an introvert for the most part. At least to everybody apart from me. She tells me I focus me at most time. But anyway, so with her coming here, because she has been talking to people, you know, sharing about her husband and my skill sets and asking about jobs for me. You know, I'm not working yet, but we're optimistic. You know, we're able to get connections, talk to people, establish the network, and trust me, it's working. All because she has opened her mouth. You know, that's about my mouth, but at least because of her, certain connections would have been made already. So I am saying to you, for those who bragging and they don't have friends and they're not need a body and I saw them stay, and pardon my Creole for those who are from a different country, but I want you to understand that you have to learn to open your mouth and speak politely, wisely, and of course you know what you say and what you say. That's how you go. Yeah, but ensure you're going to need support one way or another. You're going to need somebody you can talk to, somebody who has been ahead of you. Since I've been here, there are a number of persons who have reached out to me. Gilfillian, you know yourself, she called me. Another friend I met earlier, my neighbor here where we live. And all by just talking, like we were here and our door got itched, that door got locked, and I asked somebody, a stranger, because here people just walk past, they're quite polite, but they're polite professionally. So someone asks, hey man, how are you today? They don't really expect you to tell them how you are, they just want you to say okay. So, yeah, that's how it goes. So if you don't speak, I'm not saying you can't survive, don't get me wrong. What I'm simply saying to you, you'll find opportunity passing you by quickly, and others are seizing them and you're not, and you're wondering why you're so, or for your life turn so. You know, the turn away, you decide not to speak, and yet you open your feelings and say your turn. So I'm encouraging you to open your mouth and speak, talk to people. Don't expect your own to stand by you. The Bible says, you know, I'm a believer, the Bible says, Jesus came to his own, which was a Jew, and they received him not, because he never came in the way they had heard of the Messiah to come. He came humble, born in a manger, and I won't start preaching here. So they refused him. He couldn't be the savior of the world. So I draw that analogy to you, that you come here thinking that, for example, if you're going to North Carolina, South Carolinas, you know, Jamaicans are popular in these areas because we are on these programs. Well, at least, yeah. Whether you're not working or working, like myself, yes. You come to this, you expect Yardie to bounce by you and give a vibe and show the ropes. But can I burst your bubble? I'm not saying that some Yardies are nice, because I've met a few Jamaicans who are really polite and I've been really nice. But I think I'm fairly a nice person. Not treat me one hard, but I'm fairly a good person. You rub me too hard, I rub it back still. No. You won't know so easily anyway. So I have met nice Jamaicans. However, maybe it's because I attract those people. They feel my energy. Maybe you different. We don't know. I'm just simply saying to you that if you're going to come here depending on Jamaicans to have your back, come open-minded. In fact, I've been here and I've seen a number of races. They are united. I've been to a Mexican to buy some seafood. For those that love original natural food and so forth. And the Mexicans, they were so, I mean, their children, their mommy, everybody working, cutting the shrimp and cleaning the shrimp, and they were talking in Spanish, you can't understand. But they were united. Particular fast food restaurant, and they were Indians, and the grandmother was there, uncle was there, cousin, because they're all, you know, they're Indians. But you see the blacks them, you see we. But now they blame it too much enough. But we have to do better though. The slavery mentality, there's a deficit when it comes on to how we respond to each other. Come from slavery, honestly speaking. This crab mentality, like, because you buy one car left me I hold it back. Because you work a so-called XYZ, me I hold it back. We have this crab and this gully man mentality. And it's sad because if we could only unite like the other races do, I'm telling you, we could make great strides. But it is what it is. I'm telling you as you come here that you have an open mind. There are great Jamaicans here. I could list them on words, but for time's sake. But be open-minded, all right? Be open-minded. The rental and the apartment and the whole lease thing. In Jamaica, we're used to, once, as you know, landlord back home, so people just move out like that and not tell you our last minute and really business and whatever. Here in America, it's not like that, because remember we spoke about credit score. Renting an apartment here is very serious. It's like you going to college. Background check, police record, everything. So someone giving their apartment, that's why when you go to the US Embassy back home or in the country, an address is very important and who you're going to. They stress that so much because once you have an address, they're able to locate you. So having an address is very, very, very powerful. So when you come here, most times it's a 1-year lease. By default, they offer you, but by chance, by some may say 6 months. The 6 months are always more expensive, like $200 more than the original price. So for example, your rent is $1,500 US. If you go 6 months for the lease, it's $1,750 somewhere there, because you are upping to leave early. So why is the lease important? For back home, my wife and I, our first apartment, we had booked it back home, but it's luckily that the apartment were flexible to release us based on some, you know, discussions we had. On circumstance, it's not easy to break a lease here. I've heard many stories of persons who would have bought a house and they want to leave where they were renting and they can't leave because if you leave before the lease ends, you have to pay like 3 months in advance and the list goes on. So what am I basically saying from this? You have to know what you're doing upon renting an apartment when you're coming from Jamaica. So you need adequate knowledge. So if you can have, again, back to number one, the most important point, money power, you can come and rent a motel or hotel and then come and scout, find somewhere quickly near the school and XYZ. If you're unable to do that, and you can talk to some Jamaicans, hopefully you find some good Jamaicans, they can share with you, or they might can give you a hookup on somewhere that they're staying. Sure, you explore the leasing, don't bind yourself to somewhere which when you come here is far from your workplace. It's not how you'd want it, you're uncomfortable. And the school system here, just like everywhere else, school is school, in quotation. I won't say much further. School is school. And being here, school is way more school here, in quotation. So, you know, my wife teaches, so she come home and she give me the stories and we talk and we laugh and we pray. We pray. I mean, we pray. Yeah, so I want you to understand that lease an apartment is very important. You research, understand, don't rush and jump. And as my friend had told me, again, Virgo, big up yourself. She told me, Kevon, not what you see every time on the internet is what is real. Because I thought first world country, everything nice and dandy. I've seen and heard a few tales, and I've seen personally. So don't follow everything you see online. All right, there is some third world behavior here as well. The next killer that nobody talks about, as in you hear it on the phone, you talk to people overseas and you're talking to them about where they are. They tell you that daycare a killer. I spoke to a friend who was, last year we were in Jamaica, and as a friend of mine left and she went away, she told me it was terrible. I say, yeah, until we come here. Luckily, my wife and I, we are very involved parent, we try to be. So most of what she can do, what I can do, she can do. So it's a good thing that I am good with the kids, so I'm able to take care of my son and have him with me every day and wherever I go, because daycare is not yet 4, it will be 4 September, and most places here in America, at least where we are, the child needs to be 4 before September before they can be admitted, and then there's a lottery system and this goes forward. It's rather difficult. Yeah, let me put it this way. We are told that preschool not necessary until or a requirement for elementary, which we call primary school back home. So a child can not go to school until he's 6 when he goes to grade 1 here in America. So daycare carries that amount of, well, one of the reasons why they may be so expensive, because it's not necessarily a requirement for a child to get into primary or elementary school as they put it here in America. So daycare is expensive. Like before we got here was $165 per week. And I said, I'll keep my son and I'll teach him. So for those who have been following me, you would have seen me talking about that daycare, my tagline. Yeah. So think about that. So if you have a child who is young and you're coming up, be mindful. It will cripple you. Don't say, I want to join the US and a little bit of money that. Mama, papa, brother, sister, uncle, and a little money that. So that money for the month, 600 US or 500 US could pay for your car. That's how expensive it is. So be mindful of that. Calculate the decision when you're coming up. If you have a young child, calculate all those stuff. I don't have much experience on this pointer, but the little I have I'll share with you, and you can go ahead and research or follow and talk to other persons. The healthcare here. America is professional and their health system is top notch, 5-star. But there's a condition. Like you buy something, it's a condition applies, it's a condition. And that is why here, like now, where my wife and I and family, we're trying to seek a good healthcare plan. Big up Jamaica, big up Jamaica. We may not have a good healthcare system, so to speak, as in how we respond to people and our professionalism, but as it relates to civil servants, commendation, Prime Minister, commendation. When I compare the packages that we have back home and here, Jamaica is better as it relates to the offer to civil servants, as it relates to teachers. But in terms of how we respond to professionalism, of course, America are top notch. So yes, that's the situation. So here in America, like I've heard about a scenario where, like, if you go to the hospital, as you step in, you'll find like 10 doctors rushing to you. You feel important, you feel special. And they have someone asking, how are you, a psychologist, someone checking your toe, checking your blood, checking everywhere. There are different doctors for different things on the body. And you are like, oh my gosh, I'm treated like a first class. Yes, you are, but you're going to pay for it as well. So shortly after, what I'm told, I've not had the experience, so I'm speaking somewhat ignorantly here, but I've heard from credible source. Upon getting that nice treatment, look out for several bills coming afterward from several doctors about their bill for your eye, your toe, the question they ask you, and the list goes on. It's professional, you pay for it. So you need to be careful as you think about coming here, and the health plan is not like Jamaica, it's not so comprehensive and so financially friendly. No, it's not. Alright, so you need to be mindful of that. We're still scouting out different health plan. We met a nice friend, she's helping us out, Roxanne, big up yourself. And so far we're learning a lot from her, how we go about making taking plans and what we look out for, deductible and so on, word here, we're learning. So I invite your consideration and reasoning that you think about healthcare. So if you're sickly, individual, your family is sickly, make sure you have some good amount of money coming up. Alright, should whatever plan you take out, you can foot the bill, and you can also, whatever plan you take out, you can pay the out-of-pocket cost. When I learn some more, I'll give some more information on that, but I'm not fully off with the information, so I won't share much because I'm not knowledgeable to the extent to share. For my wife and I, because we have been meticulous about the move and we wanted to live together, my wife shared explicitly to me that, honey, I'm not leaving without my family. So I said, no problem, let's work towards it. So we have been working towards this for almost 2 years to get here. So we have put a few things in place. Not enough, but it's comfortable enough for a fairly good start. Yeah? And what she mentioned, so what we did, what we did now, we have put some plans in place to leave Jamaica. Of course, the plane's gonna be expensive, $200,000 Jamaican dollars, and the list goes on. Having them here, trying to settle, can be emotionally draining. They're young, they don't understand that you're stressed. You are tired, you're anxious. They're just asking, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy. So all those demands. So if you're coming up here with your family, make sure, even you might work out the playing field and come up here, work out the emotional stability, the emotional climate, the financial climate upon living here. And remember, spouse or dependents of for H1 visa cannot work until they have been approved. So you can't work. And even if you are in J1, which both persons are given the opportunity to work, you have to think about daycare and all this. So it's still a factor to consider as you think about settling. So if you're coming with your family, ensure you are prepared as best as possible emotionally. You are financially somewhat prepared. Ask questions. That's why number one is important. Money power. You can buy a vehicle quickly, not having a credit score, and the list goes on. And you're not buying a cheap vehicle, you're burning up you come with Jamaican mentality again, buy a cheap vehicle. So all these things you have to consider. So bringing your family is very, very important. You consider taking them or and leaving them is still stressful. So either way it's going to be stressful. But I'm saying to you, don't ignorantly come here with them, not exploring the realities. Daycare, healthcare, and the list goes on. So yes guys, as I share the last point with you, and it can be overstressed, it's the most important ingredient as you think about migrating. It doesn't matter how much you plan, doesn't matter how much you put things in place. If you're not living for Jesus, yes, if you're not putting him at the hem of your life, at the forefront of your life. Because when you're here, the job will get to you, the kids will get to you, the money will get to you, the credit score will get to you, everything will get to you. All your planning, all your plan for, some things will show up that you just never knew. You can't know everything. You will come across stumbling blocks. You'll come across things you never saw coming, because that's life. The bottom line to all this, when you come home, and when you're faced with impossible decisions and worst case scenarios, what do you turn to? More money? You can't get no more money. You are the only one working hard. The money is just at the rim. You have to turn to a supreme being. God is the most important thing above all the tips that I've given to you. Because when you come to a place where your back's against the wall, you have to lean to faith. You have to lean to trust, something you can't see but believe. Yes, the world call it manifestation. They call it different things, manifest this and feel this, but I won't even debate and talk about that. I'll let you know that faith is what you have to resort to. God is what you have to believe in. And prayer, like even last time my wife came, we had a long discussion. Work. Well, I never had anything to say to her. With all my counseling background and all I can say to her, honey, we're going to pray and ask God to direct us. So I'm letting you know, you're coming here with all what you're hearing. If you don't know Jesus Christ, I wish you all the best, because you're going to face it. I'm beseeching you, my dear brother and sister, family, ensure you know Jesus Christ. Ensure you have a personal relationship, not church, not a religion, but know Jesus Christ as your Savior and God as your King that will live in the kingdom. And yes, you will, when those tough times come, you'll have, when you can't see no money and no way out, you can pray together and see God work and work things out. It's a nice place to be. I like it here. I like it here. Americans have worked for what they have, for what you see on television, they have worked for it. But our Jamaican mentality have allowed us to think otherwise. To be honest with you, my wife just got paid yesterday, and of course with the tax coming out, we were shocked, but we weren't fully shocked because we had discussed about what would be the worst case scenario in terms of pay and the best. And it followed in what we were reasoning. So, to be frank with you, here's a better place to start financially if you are better paid than Jamaica as it relates to financial stability in terms of a job and the teaching. But like every country, the system is demanding, and everywhere has their culture, and read between the lines. And so America do pays well. You can buy a vehicle, good credit score, a nice brand new vehicle. You can pay an apartment, you can go somewhere if you budget yourself well and budget your money. So in Jamaica, that's not so easy. But we did it back home, you have to work hard. So thank you for tuning in with me this week. this time around. I hope to see you soon. Send your feedbacks, of course. We're here to help each other, right? You know things that I don't know. Help us reach and build a network to assist each other. Thank you very much. See you when I see you again. Peace out.